Carbon emissions need to be mitigated on a much larger scale than what has been occurring. This need is illustrated by this short video segment about rising CO2 levels. Rising CO2 levels have been correlating closely with rising global temperatures since 1880. This graph shows rising CO2 levels on a shorter timescale as measured at the Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii. On an even shorter timescale, you can see average CO2 levels have continued to rise despite a global economic slowdown from the coronavirus pandemic, which is shown by the black line. The red line on this graph shows the seasonal variations. Fortunately, there is now a proven breakthrough technology that captures 100% of the CO2 created when generating power from fuels such as natural gas, biogas from landfills, syngas from coal, and diesel fuel. It is called the Allam-Fetfeld cycle, or simply the Allam cycle. In addition, there are carbon capture technologies such as Shell's CANSOLVE CO2 capture system that can be added to existing power plants. The captured CO2 can be utilized for a wide range of uses, including vertical farming as well as being sequestered in the ground. Shown next is a short animated video segment that illustrates how the Allam cycle works.
Net power uses supercritical CO2 instead of steam to produce power. Natural gas is combusted with hot, recuperated CO2 and oxygen, preventing NOx production. Burning with oxygen, known as oxycombustion, is typically uneconomic because oxygen is expensive to produce. Net power overcomes this problem by recuperating the majority of the produced CO2 into the combustor, dramatically lowering oxygen requirements. The resulting working fluid of high-pressure CO2 and water is expanded through a turbine and then cooled in a heat exchanger. Water is removed, and the remaining nearly pure carbon dioxide stream is compressed and pumped back to high pressure. Excess pipeline-ready CO2 is exported before the working fluid is reheated in the heat exchanger and returned to the combustor. This breakthrough process produces low-cost electricity, eliminates water consumption, and is emissions-free.
Shell's CANSOLVE CO2 capture system can be added to existing power plants to enable carbon capture on a large scale and is already in use in many locations. Since the Allam cycle technology is very energy efficient, using it when building new power plants is often the most cost-effective approach. Both these solutions enable several different sectors of the economy to work together to benefit the whole of society. Capturing carbon through these technologies allows oil, gas, and power plant workers to continue working. As well, it helps governments and companies that depend on income from fossil fuels to transition to a low-carbon economy, which is critical for obtaining their support for this transition. Power plants with carbon capture are complementary to renewable energy solutions. Due to the urgent need for large-scale climate action, all these solutions can and should be implemented around the world as quickly as possible. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. If you are interested in more information, please visit climatesan.org/CEM.